I'd like to call this meeting to order. The first order of business with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, I'd like to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. To recommend approving the March 21st, 2024 regular council minute meetings. Everybody have a chance to read them? Any corrections?
I'll recommend approving.
I'll second.
Have a recommendation and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. To recommend approving the March 2023 claims list. Any issues on the claims?
I'll make that recommendation. Second.
Have a recommendation and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. To recommend accepting the account balances, disbursements, ledgers, and financial statements for various funds from March 31st, 2024.
I'll make that recommendation. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Recommend approving the ordinance 167 and Mid-Continent Cable Finance Agreements. Sal's got a copy to read that. Everybody got a chance to see that, what that is?
Long reading.
Any recommendations?
I'll make that recommendation.
I'll second.
We have a recommendation and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. This is informational, but the 2024 Cooch County tax forfeited apportionment, how much we get from the, so if you all got a chance to look at that.
Yep.
Also, we need a recommendation to accept another $4,000 donation from the Ranier Rec Club.
I'll make that recommendation.
I'll second that.
We have a recommendation and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Jen, the municipal liquor store statement.
She's unable to be here.
Okay.
She'll come next week, right? She'll come in next week, you think?
Yes.
She had an emergency.
I see there was a slight profit made again in this month, but business is way down. Hopefully it'll get the weather turned around and start picking up
It's only about $500 off.
from last year.
Yeah.
And some of that comes in from the rec club.
For the year end though? It's just from, I was looking at the year statement.
Clothing is a big thing. This year they had more, no, last year they sold more clothing. So I mean, it's kind of all across the board, but it's only about, $900 difference.
For the month.
Yeah, and actually the actual bar is only $400 difference.
Yeah.
$350, $360. So it's not that much. It probably plateaued because last year we probably didn't have snowmobiling at this time.
Right, I mean, the losses were made in
Right,
January and,
right,
you know,
right.
that's what I was trying to say. It's still down from last year, but
Right.
this month is where it
We're probably
is
going to
on a
pretty
year
much mirror
basis.
each other now for a while, I would think.
Okay. Well,
I guess we table that then until next
we
week?
can do that.
That we do?
Yep.
I'll make that motion to table it then until next week to talk with Jen.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Nick, maintenance reports?
Fancy new clothes. How are you guys?
All right.
Good.
What do we got going on, Nick?
Steam and culverts, mostly.
Culverts, yeah.
Did you get the one out on the bike trail, I see, or is that was the state?
That's the state.
State, yeah.
They did that yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. And other than the culverts, no water breaks, no...
Nope, everything else has been pretty good. I did talk to Ironhide about our stump grinder, and they're looking for a couple different options for us in that money we got.
How about that control panel? Did they give you a delivery date on the control panel?
It was 90 days out from when we last talked to them. So in May, middle of May sometime.
Okay. Is the old one that, I mean, just wore out, it's still working?
It's obsolete, and all our timers on there to keep track of how much fluid goes through there, they're starting to go backwards on us now, so we can't even keep track of how much goes through there. They have to use the secondary one in the park down there.
Okay. Well, it's been here for, I don't think it's ever been replaced, so it's
No,
gotta
it's
be.
been a long time.
Yeah, 84, I believe. Oh, no, before that.
So right before the flood, they had that issue with the fuses in it, and they had to go look in Canner's basement to go find fuses for it.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't used fuses for a while. Okay.
At least they had some.
You know, I don't know, culverts are always the main thing this time of year, but I don't know what else, any other issues that we're going to be putting the docks in shortly out here.
We were gonna have to do some work to that one first.
Okay. What do we have to do?
Well, I've got a couple stringers that are shot on it, and then there's a couple of the main braces underneath them that sit on top of them pylons. The pylons are they're gone, they're not even touching the dock anymore.
Is that something you can handle, or do we have to get a contract to do it?
I would say contractor, just so it's done, we're not just scabbing it together.
All right. Well, why don't you see what you can do about figuring out what we need there and getting a price on it. I don't know if you can find somebody or whoever can
It's
do
covered-
that.
Some of it's covered under the FEMA grant, which we're
Right,
trying
I
to
mean-
get people to work on our docks from the FEMA.
Yeah, we had talked to a couple different people about bids on that, we still haven't got nothing on it.
I met a fellow this weekend, actually. He's interested in doing some projects, so maybe I'll mention that to him. He's actually from the area. He lives here in the summer, and then he travels back and forth the Milk River. But I met him down in St. Cloud, so he's interested. I'll give him a call. Maybe he can come up and give us a price on a dock. He's actually giving prices on some prices up here, and he's giving some quotes on the jail and that. So I will give him a call on. Cheryl, have we received anything for the dock here? Okay.
Dennis, are you talking to the mic?
Okay. I will give him a call. I think he will. We'll have to get some information of exactly what we're looking for there, so if he asks for it, we'll have to be able to. But I know he's looking for projects up here because he wants to come up here and spend the summer up here, but he's got to have something to keep him employed up
We
here.
got packets on every one of the docks with dimensions and,
Can I get one of those out to somebody that might, in the area that might be interested in doing
yep.
it? Just to-
Okay.
And then that lead and copper, some residents got notes with their water bills this last month
Yeah.
to take pictures of their water meters. We're trying to get a kind of inventory on what everybody has in their house for water lines, whether it be lead, PVC, copper. The state's coming down on us with this lead and copper rule now, so we sent out letters to kind of minimize how many houses we have to go barge into and take pictures. But anybody that does have a water meter they can't access or can't get to, we can more than happy to come in and take a picture of it quick for them.
Yeah, I know the area where I live in, that's all new water systems up 130 all the way, so basically it's probably Old Town here that
Yeah.
we have to start looking at.
And they want all of our mains, how long our mains are, what's the diameter pipe we have, what kind of pipe.
Maybe that's something you should be coordinating it with the water, the water bills, so we have them all, like you said, we send them out with the water bills, but if we're getting any information back, so we know who's reapplied, obviously you don't have to look at any of those up there, they're all new coppers, but you pretty much can say, well, did we get any replies from this area here or something that had some old ones, and then if we have to, maybe we'll have to go take the pictures or do whatever we have to do.
We did that last month, and Edith we have a booklet in the office that every time someone calls in, but they need an appointment to get a picture taken of it, we write that down, or if they have copper or PVC, or she's keeping inventory and everything in there, so we can just send it all away once we get all our information.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe if you work with her, you can kind of tell which ones for sure are new copper. But on the other ones, maybe we'll just have to push a note with them saying that we'd like to take an inspection of them, take a picture of them, and, you know, call them, make a time, and, you know, like say, you can eliminate quite a few of them, so there's probably only, you know, let's just say half the services or something you may have to address and go take a picture of or something, so we take care of that, so, okay. Anything else for Nick?
Well, I'd like to know what's the state gonna do with that information?
Well, they're eliminating all lead lines. So like at International Falls from like 7th Street, 6th, 5th, some of 15th Street, they have a pile of lead water lines there. So the state's going to give money to get them replaced now.
Yeah.
In the beginning, they just wanted to go in there and tell them, you, the homeowner, you have to fix it at your expense. But now there's money available for it, so they're really pushing to get every city to get their inventory done.
And then the
And we're
appropriate
lucky
money.
here, we only have, you know, so many residents where we're not in Minneapolis or
Yeah, we've
thousands
done,
of people.
we've done quite a few of them water replacement jobs like that where we replace all the lead lines going in, but now there's just, they're going to supply some funding for that
Yep.
because of the Flint, Michigan and those places like that where they had the bad waters.
So then the copper pipe.
Copper's
They're fine, copper's fine.
Yep.
What about the
PVC's
lead
fine,
siding?
just lead and,
Just right now, as they're pushing lead pipe, any lead main water line or lead lines going into a house.
so we may have a few, but it'd be very few,
Yeah.
you know, being the oldest part of town. They haven't used lead since they got rid of the lead and started using asbestos. True. I can't tell you how many thousands and thousands and thousands of feet of asbestos pipe is in the ground. I mean, but I guess, anyway, so that's that. Any more questions for Nick?
No?
Okay, thanks, Nick.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
I was gonna ask, how's the sign project coming?
We're done besides we have 4 or 5 left that we have that we had to order.
When is the county gonna take theirs down?
As soon as they tie their shoes, we really come to work. I don't know.
I see the guys working on the trees too. I see his little skidster over there. Is there any,
Yeah, he did good
more
cleaning
work in the park?
He did good cleaning up. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like. He's just cleaning it up.
Is he gonna do the stumps too, or is that us?
that's us. That's what we got.
Yeah,
to
he
get
probably
that stuff
has
ready.
1 day left or half a day.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the starter went out on his little bump.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, he's trying to, the starter was
Oh,
supposed
I
to
didn't
be.
know that. I was
Yeah,
wondering.
the starter was supposed to be here Saturday, but it didn't come.
I thought maybe we bought a new toy for the kids at the park to practice or something. I seen it sitting there. I had to back up and take a second look.
Wiggs'
Was it out there? Yeah, a training session. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he brought us up to the queue and got in there the last cold frozen weekend and
Right.
got most of all that cleaned up. So
Yeah,
that's
he did a good job.
Yeah, well, that was another thing I was going to recommend right now for the next week here. It's probably going to be real soft and everything else, so pay attention. We don't want to be running around rutting everything up because
Yeah.
it'll only be a couple of weeks and then everything will be dried up and we'll be able to service it, do what he wants to do if he's not done already, so. Okay. Anything else for Nick then?
Nope.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, the next is a recommendation for a certificate of support for the new hospital.
I'll make that recommendation.
I'll second.
Obviously, we all know. We got a recommendation, a
I'll
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And the next item on is recommending the conditional use permit for the public pier. I think we had a good meeting at our last one. We addressed quite a few of the fears and comments, and I think everybody left the meeting with a better understanding of the whole project. So I was real happy with the process of the meeting, shedding light on it. So they recommend a conditional use permit.
I'll make that recommendation.
Are we not having any discussion on that before we make our motion?
Gotta make a recommendation first. I'll second the recommendation. Then we have discussion.
All in favor?
She wanted to have some
I
discussion.
had something to add, I was just making
You
sure I
wanted-
wasn't jumping. on somebody
What,
else.
where are we at?
She wanted a discussion on
Well,
before we vote.
Before the recommendation?
No, recommend, now she's gonna be open for it. Let her have her piece, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, we have a recommendation and a second right now, but Jen wants to say something first? Is
Well,
that it?
I just wanted to clarify because I wanted a motion to include, make that conditional use permit conditional upon the completion of an environmental assessment.
Right.
And so the most recent measurements that have been put out by our engineer, Jeremy Walgrave, he had two options for us based on trying to make this under 20,000 square feet. Both options, one was 320 square feet under 20,000 square feet, and the second one was 872 square feet under 20,000 square feet. At our steering committee meeting that we had, our SEH engineer had expressed that he believes the agencies will require the EAW whether those measures are taken or not. And by those measures, it was the measures that have recently been taken to basically make the project smaller so that we fit under that 20,000 square feet. However, it is his professional opinion that we will end up doing one. And I would like a conditional use permit, which is based on not doing environmental harm, which if you're approving that conditional use permit by that criteria, how can you approve that when you don't know whether environmental harm is being done?
You have to have the approval in order for it.
Right, but the conditional use permit is only needed for the DNR to complete its permitting process. It's not needed for it to begin.
And I was also under the impression that on this type of thing that we were going to see what the DNR and the Army Corps of Engineers state that the EAW is needed.
Yeah.
That was my impression.
Right, but the community has stated their wish for some environmental work to be done, and I would like to attach environmental assessment contingency to that motion.
I don't
I,
know that.
What's that?
We can add that to it.
I mean, I would like to
No.
approve the conditional use permit with the contingency of environmental assessment to be done.
I couldn't approve that because we gave direct orders to the engineering firm to make sure to design it that stayed under the 20,000 feet so that we wouldn't have to do an environmental assessment.
But they
The
still.
EAW, we've already voted on that. We voted
There's
4-1
new information.
to do
This
that,
is new
so.
information. They
Pardon
had
me?
to, this is new information.
I also think that the Corps of Army Engineers and the DNR is also going to most likely have us do that study.
Right. The problem, so the most recent, there are questions in relation to these measurements, Dennis, because part of they missed a portion of this project that they're supposed to be measuring. And that was directed to Jeremy, he has not gotten back to us yet, and that will put us over the 20,000. I mean, this is new information. If it wasn't new information, we wouldn't be having to adjust the dock design, which we did make some design changes. We had to make it from 20 feet to maybe 18 feet. We have to remove some floaters, all of that, but we're still so very close. And it's the engineer's opinion, and it was also stated in the pre-application meeting that this is probably going to happen. And I think that with what the community has voiced is they want the project, but they want to do what's right.
That's not true.
But
Most of the people I've talked to definitely do not want the EWA. There are a select few, you being one of them, your husband being another, Hell Lloyd's being another one, but on the majority, people do not want the EWA because of the time and the fact that it's going to take time, cost more money, and it is not acquired. So I do not know why we keep hashing over this same thing. John, don't say anything. You can address, we will give you time to talk on that, but do not interrupt somebody else talking. You'll get time.
What I see is the conditional use permit, all that says is that we get to move forward. It doesn't mean anything about evaluations on all the environment stuff. That's got to happen for us to get the other permits. This is just a conditional use permit to change the zoning.
But this says that it cannot cause environmental harm to the community, and how can you approve that when you don't know the answer to that yet? That will come.
It's your opinion that it might. It's my opinion it isn't. So that's what we
an
voted
environmental
on. Who
assessment
makes you the expert?
verifies-
I've talked to 2 biologists. I'm tired of talking about this. I will not approve anything. I will not vote for anything, making it clear that we've already got a recommendation on the floor, and if you want to make a second recommendation to tie it to it, we'll vote on that. But right now, the recommendation is to approve a conditional use permit, period. And we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So carried. Now, John, you'd like to say something? I see you said something.
Well, you were just making some suppositions about...
John, yeah, just come to the podium. We'll try to keep it in a thing. Thank you. The mic's on.
Yeah, you were kind of spouting off there, and you were talking about the people of the community and how they feel about things.
Yes.
And you don't know this. You don't.
I do know that, John. You're not the only one. You got an opinion. They have an opinion. I have an opinion. Your opinion is not the law. I've listened to this whole deal, and the majority of the people are in favor of this project. Thank you. Anybody else? Sue, go ahead. You got
I
questions?
happen to know, Mr. Mayor, that you are incorrect. That the vast majority of people in Ranier, if you put this for a referendum, it would never even pass.
Another opinion. Thank you. Any more questions? Motion to adjourn? All in favor?
No.
I would like to know, when, with all the money that we've gotten, when these things are going to go up that record the miles per hour that vehicles are driving down here and here, because just in the last 2 days, I've had to scream at 2 of them.
Those are
Todd is
ordered,
working
aren't
on,
they?
excuse
Yeah, we
me,
got 'em on
we'll
order.
address that, Todd.
Any idea when they're gonna be here? They're ordered though.
We haven't ordered them yet, no, but I've got a whole package.
Yeah, let's get
Nick
that
and
done,
Nick and
because I sit on my deck and watch people, they're still going too fast.
Mike, I see you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I still work on it. I thought it was still on.
That's
the
fine.
agenda. I missed it. I got it. I think earlier you either approved or conditionally approved the franchise agreement. Is that correct? I
Yeah.
didn't hear that, but.
Yes.
Okay. I would like you to reconsider that. If you look at what they're dropping, that paragraph number 9 drops to public buildings. It says grantee shall provide standard installation, 1 cable drop, 1 cable outlet, and monthly basic cable service without charge to 3 franchise authority-owned buildings and all public and private elementary schools. We don't have any public schools or whatever, but we do have community buildings. And we may have community buildings in the next 10 years. So I would ask that you reconsider that. It says you can drop the elementary, secondary schools, as he says in the last paragraph, but keep the option open for those 3 free drops and the free cable service. I think it's on page 26 of that package.
I'm sorry, I don't have that. That's on page 26. I'm sorry, I don't have that. Todd, you got a copy of that? Yeah, thank you. And when
This
you
is the
talk-
paragraph they want to drop, and then read this.
Okay, this,
We don't never put it in.
okay, this is for the cable.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just, now it's clear.
I shifted gears.
Okay. Well, that was a recommendation. Obviously, this brings some light on it, and that's why we have this, because the council meeting is where we really approve. Next week is where we approve all these recommendations. So we will certainly give that some thought, and we can just address that at the council meeting.
10 years is a long time. The
Pardon me? Oh, yeah.
Unless-
No question. I'm glad you pointed that out, Mike.
There's no harm in keeping
All
it
right,
in there.
yeah,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll keep
yeah, concrete.
Anybody else? We had a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.